I'm Becky Malby, I'm the Director for the Centre of Innovation and Health Management, and I'm here at Cumbria Care with Kate. We was at a workshop a few weeks ago with Kate, and we were having a conversation about performance management and how the public sector is caught up in targets and how destructive that can be. And Kate was going, well, it's not like that where I am. And so I thought we'd better come and have a look and see why it's not like that where she is. And so I really came here because I thought Kate had a good story about how you can use performance management as a way of developing services, as a way of energising people, as a way of understanding care, rather than as a way of holding a big stick over people and saying, you're not doing what you're supposed to do, and why not? I think the way Kate's using performance management here is what we would call as an inquiry, as a way of trying to understand what's going on. And that seems to seep through everybody that's working in Cumbria Care too. So it's not just at her level and at her senior manager level, but it appears to be it's also at her at the home level where people are caring for older people. So there is something about how she's generating a questioning culture, which is, are we doing what we could do? Are we doing it as well as we could do it? What more could we do? Rather than a, you're not doing what you should be doing, and why not? So she's developed a culture of performance management which is about inquiry and curiosity rather than about punishment and blame. I think when I was listening to Kate talk about the service that they're designing and delivering, there's something for me about absolute commitment to the purpose, and that being paramount in a way that's completely dear to her heart, but is held organisation. It's a really strong identity in the organisation. So she uses information as a way of strengthening identity, i.e. Cumbria Care and its services, and developing relationships between people, i.e. how well are we doing, could we do it better? So a way of designing conversations about futures and possibilities rather than conversations about problems and fixing. Does that make sense? So it's not a conversation as we're getting it wrong, oh God, and she's going to come and give us a hard time and we're doing better and I'd rather just go and get another job. It's a, gosh, why are we doing it like that? Well, that's strange. You know, we thought we were doing the really good thing here and it looks like maybe we're not doing quite as well as we thought we were. And that's a shit. I wonder what that's about. And the other part was that I think Kate has ways of helping people realise their potential. So she's not scared by data. So she's not seeing things that are problematic and go, oh no, there's another thing wrong with X home in X county and what we're going to do about it. She says, right, that's not good enough and we really want to do it better and this is not a really huge problem here and we can sort it. So she doesn't see problems as something complex and horrible that's unfixable. She sees problems and stuff coming up in the data as, well, absolutely, we ought to be doing that and there's no reason why not. So you know when you get into the public sector and everything's always too difficult and people say, well, we can't do that because so-and-so's here and we can't do that because Mr Brogson, we can't do that because the GPs always refer it like that. And she says, well, why do they? And why can't we? And that's not right because it's not right for our older people. And that must be really liberating to work with. I think if anyone in the public sector wants to do it like Kate, to do it in the way that they thought was developmental, I think you have to change your mindset. And I think it's amazing how the way you see things determines what you do. So I have a young son and every item he picks up in my house is a gun. And every item in my house is something to be shot. It doesn't matter whether it is a real gun or it's a stick or it's a dog bone, to be honest. That's how he is in the world at the moment. He just sees, that's how he sees the world. So I think there's something about how you broaden how you see the world, that you see performance management not as something that's about doing to, but about doing with. So if you see performance management as an experiment, as a way of trying to understand how things are around here with the underlying theme, so we can do it better, then that changes your attitude to it. And if you change your attitude to it, it changes how you see the data and what you want from it. So you don't then take the government target like the Working Time Directive and say, we just have to do this. You say, why would we want to do this? We want to do this, as Kate said, because actually it's rubbish people working those sorts of hours. Why on earth hadn't we seen it before? Thank goodness someone's given us a target that makes us see it differently. What else do we need to know in order for all our staff to be working at a level that means they're not too stretched? What would that take? So she takes the directive, she looks at the data, she says, actually that isn't giving us enough, we need a bit more. And I would suggest most managers take national targets and think this is a hurdle we have to cross rather than what's that telling us and what more do we need to know in order to really understand the service here. If you see it as an experiment, you'll use that as a way into a conversation, and you'll be collecting a lot more data in order to have that conversation.